Folks, we have a very serious problem deep inside Azimio. Now, of course, this is not good news because many Kenyans, especially those who voted for Azimio, over 8 million of them, real figures closer to 10 million Kenyans, have placed all their hopes on Azimio. And therefore, it will naturally be very discouraging to hear that deep within the coalition, there are serious problems. Problems serious enough to cause cracks, which is the last thing we're looking for right now. But let's get down to it. But before we do, ningependa kuomba watoto wote ambao wako hapa ndani waondoke nje. Waende hapo nyuma ya tent, watapewa mandazi na chai. Kwa sababu yale maneno tunaongea hapa ni maneno ya watu wazima. On a very serious note, what we are about to discuss is for those who are mature in politics and those who understand that anywhere where we have human beings involved, things can never be smooth. People are bound to disagree, sometimes very seriously. There are bound to be jealousies here and there. People feeling shortchanged, etc., etc. That is very normal. And naturally, this kind of discussion cannot be had when there are political children in the room, who can never even begin to understand. Because what we are not saying here, what we are not saying, is that Azimio is in trouble. Nobody has said that. Nobody is saying Azimio is finished. I have not said that. What we are doing here is analyzing deeply a problem that may or may not grow into something big in the near future. And the best way to summarize the crux of the problem deep within Azimio is by using the following very common phrase: bad blood. Bad blood. That is the crux of the problem. Now, very quickly before I proceed, let me give you time to recover your breath by giving you snippets, very brief ones, of what is contained in my latest book, The Ruto Kenyans Will Never Know. I promise you, it is super fascinating. I'll be back.
The other side of the YK92 story that is hardly talked about. The organization was widely accused of being complicit in ethnic violence directed at Kikuyu residents in southern and central parts of Rift Valley province. It all started over a drink at Boulevard Hotel on January 5, 1992. As Cyrus Jirongo's driver then, Ruto may have caught up with the developments at the Boulevard bar later. Ruto got his foot through the door when the then 24-year-old was picked to head the secretariat. But what did the job of heading the secretariat really mean? To be brutally honest, it was the guy to answer the phone as well as lock and open the office every day. Although Ruto remained head of the secretariat, his relationship with both Gideon Moore and Jirongo remained complex. He was clearly already developing his deadly political and business acrobatic skills that would serve him very well in future. Ondiki, who had the guts to tell a conference in Embu, "We are going to pour an amount of money never seen before in this country."
Quick quiz for you. What very out of the ordinary thing happened to William Ruto in a building called Anniversary Towers in Nairobi in the year 1992? And this thing that happened changed Ruto's life forever. Discover the mind-blowing and very unexpected answer to that loaded question in Chris Kumekucha's latest sizzler titled The Ruto Kenyans Will Never Know. This audiobook will help you understand so many things that have happened in Kenya in recent months, and you will also be able to easily predict what is coming next for sure. Get all the details in the description area of this video and in the comments area.
Now, Professor Makau Mutua's latest outburst against Jeremiah Kioni, who is supposed to be head of the technical team in the ongoing bipartisan talks gave the reason of Kioni not being in support of the talks and repeatedly saying that the talks are a waste of time. Professor Makau Mutua actually gave us the symptoms. He did not touch on the real disease, okay, which is okay because this is politics. That is how the game is played. But let us go back to where it all started. Granted, the tensions in Azimio did not start yesterday, just like the tensions within UDA and Kenya Kwanza did not start yesterday, and I've already explained why, where you have humans. For example, earlier on, at the beginning of the Mandamanos, there was a incident involving the same man, Jeremiah Kioni, and Professor Wajakoya, you know, the weed professor, some people call him. And the tensions were to do with some remarks Professor Wajakoya made in a church during an Azimio gathering that Kioni felt had gone too far. And in my opinion, the issue here was how Kioni handled it, rather than the issue itself. But that is a story for another day. The current crisis was birthed when Raila Odinga announced his team for the bipartisan talks. Because the feeling amongst most leaders within Azimio is that Raila should have selected the most loyal members of Azimio. He should have worked on loyalty. However, and this has become very clear in recent days, Raila Odinga chose his team based on his strategy for the talks. In other words, Raila Odinga was up to something, but of course he did not share widely what it was that he was up to. I think we all understand that would have been suicidal, because there are Ruto spies deep within Azimio, even amongst the leadership. In case you didn't know, hey, nakwambia, things are thick. To most people, the choice of Kalonzo Musyoka was strange. First of all, nobody expected a principal to be involved if that person was not Raila Odinga. And if Raila Odinga was not involved, then he should have been deputized by Martha Karua, his running mate, in the August elections. And in my opinion, the duly elected Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. And that is exactly what she should have been if somebody had not gone and fiddled with the will of the people last August. And it seems that some people within Azimio interpreted this very wrongly. They asked themselves, does this mean that Raila's second in command is now Kalonzo Musyoka? How? When did that happen? Etc, etc. Na hapo ndo shetani akaingia. The bad blood entered Azimio at that point in time. But we now know that what Raila was doing was in line with his strategy to use the talks for another objective other than getting anything from Kenya Kwanza. And that is to expose to the world what the Supreme Court should have exposed to the world. What indeed should have been exposed to the world immediately after the August elections. And that is details of how a coup was carried out in Kenya, where people took power by force, pretending they were doing it legally. That is exactly what happened in Kenya last August. And then of course the issues of money. It is always about the money. Because you see, the participants in the bipartisan talks are getting allowances. They're getting paid, not small money. Local daily reported the figures which have shocked Kenyans. The figures of the budget. And you can be sure most of that money is going into allowances. And so, logically thinking, the most loyal people to Raila Odinga, the most loyal people to Azimio, should have been selected on this bipartisan team so that at least they start getting rewarded for their loyalty. That was the thinking. of many of the leaders. And then something else happened politically. Martha Karua and Jeremiah Kioni, their political profile and clout within the Mount Kenya region started rising very fast and very dramatically, which makes sense because there's a lot of frustration within the Mount Kenya region. A lot of the people there, the Kenyans, are feeling cheated, and they feel that their leaders from the region who are in UDA are just talking nonsense, things which can't be understood, because as they are cornered by the high cost of living, people are talking about other things which are irrelevant, like how they should be the next kingpin, Rigathi Gachagua, etc., etc. And so Martha Karua and Jeremiah Kioni have suddenly found themselves in a situation where they are being looked up to as political juggernauts, powerhouses within the Mount Kenya region. And perhaps the best evidence of this is the formation of the new lobby group, Kamwene Leadership Forum, which we have been told is to champion for the rights of the people in the Mount Kenya region. But then Kioni and Karua have quickly told us they are still in Azimio. This is just a side hustle, if you like. But it seems that all this has started affecting Raila Odinga's strategy at the bipartisan talks, because Kioni is supposed to head the technical team. What is supposed to happen, because he's so senior on the team, is not supposed to talk so much about whether the talks are working or not. The ideal situation is that he's supposed to stick very closely to Raila Odinga's script and strategy. Granted, Raila Odinga has not released his entire blueprint, even to the Azimio leaders, and I've given you the reason why. You don't know who to trust. But the good news, is that despite all this, Raila Odinga's plan has yet to be derailed, although there's a danger of that happening, because you all have to play together as a team. But so far, so good, his plan has not been derailed. But those close to Raila Odinga are getting nervous, they don't want anything to go wrong, because this Raila Odinga thing is a very big play, very crucial. Already UDA and Ruto are in 6s and 7s. They were caught completely by surprise. This thing iliwashtua sana. When we had the Cherera 4 tell us some very shocking details of how this coup was carried out last August against the people of Kenya and against the will of the people of Kenya. I just thought I should inform you about that. Of course, it is very deep. It is deep within Azimio. It is simmering. Daggers are not yet drawn out, but the signs are there. I just thought you should know. But if you ask me, the Kenyan people cannot be stopped. And what is going to happen next is unstoppable. Because when you have all the people in one country speaking the same language, almost everybody, talking the same narrative, then stopping them is impossible, no matter how powerful you think you are. Let me just leave it at that for now. There's a lot for you to chew on. I will of course keep you updated on a very regular basis about this issue. But for now, at least you're up to speed, and that makes me happy. Now, very quickly before I go, what you see on your screens now are details on how you can get my very latest audiobook, The Ruto Kenyans Will Never Know. Because there's a lot in this latest book of mine that people do not know about. Stories and incidences that have never been told. And for now, until I produce the next video, that amazing offer still holds, and therefore you can take full advantage of it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.